Hi everyone and welcome to Silver Face and Body Painting. This is Face Painting for Beginners Part 2, Flat Brushes. If you haven't already watched it yet, you can find Part 1 of the series here. It's linked below in the description as well. In this video, I will cover brushes, loading flat brushes, line work, petals, U-shapes, hook strokes and base shapes. Brushes. The brushes I'm using today are a 3/4 inch flat brush and a 3/4 inch angular brush. You can get largely the same effect with both of these brushes, so if you're just starting out you only need one of these. I prefer the angular brush as it creates a really good shape for butterflies. While round brushes are used for outlines, flat brushes are used to fill in blocks of colour and to create base shapes to build designs around. Building these base shapes with a large flat brush can speed up your designs a lot, especially if you're using split cakes, which is more than one colour in the same palette of paint. Loading flat brushes. To load a flat brush, wet the brush with water. It should be damp but not dripping. Hold the brush flat and drag it gently back and forth in the paint so you load both sides. If the paint drips in the container, then it's too wet. And if there's not enough paint on the brush, then it's too dry. Be careful not to jam your brush into the bottom of the water container when loading, as it can ruin the shape of the brush. Also, don't leave your brushes face down in water tubs. Lay them flat on the table or find a cup or a pencil holder to stand them in, brush up. If you're using a split cake, the colours will run together if the brush is too wet. You load flat brushes the same way for one colour and for split cakes. If you want to use two colours on the same brush at once but don't have a split cake, you can load half of the brush at a time. Tip one corner of the brush in water, hold the brush side on over your paint so only one half or corner is in the paint, and pull it back and forth gently until the brush is coated. Repeat this on the other side until you can see two distinct colours on the brush. Line work and shapes. To paint a thick line, press the brush gently onto the skin so that the entire brush is in contact with it, and pull the paint across in a line. To change the shape, just move the brush up and down while maintaining contact with the skin. Practice some straight and wavy lines. To paint thin lines, angle the brush so the lines follow the edge of the bristles, and press gently onto the skin. For short lines, you can just leave it at that. For longer lines, pull the brush along the line that you have already created. This creates a much sharper look. To move between thick and thin lines, twist the brush from the flat of the brush to the side while maintaining contact with the skin. Practice creating these shapes. Petals. To paint leaves and flower petals, start off with a thick line and angle your brush to make it thinner at the end. Now, starting at that top thin part, mirror the pattern on the other side. This side will start at the thin and move to thick, overlapping in the middle to create one shape. Notice mine are all roughly the same size and shape. You want your designs to be consistent and look pretty much the same every time. U-shapes. The next shape to try is a U-shape. Press the flat of the brush against the skin and pull down and up to create a U-shape. Now try an upside down U-shape by pulling up and back down. Try some small neat shapes and some bigger textured ones. To create a textured look, wiggle the brush up and down in the middle of the shape and bring it back into a straight line to finish. Make sure to bring both ends into the same point so it looks like it starts from a fixed point. Again, try to paint them all the same size and shape. Hook strokes. The next one to try is an extended end shape or a hook shape. Start with a thick line and pull your brush down and add an angle to create a thin point to finish. It should finish roughly in line with the start point. Practice big and little hook shapes. Base shapes. If you put all of this line work together, you can start to see a lot of face painting designs are made up of these base shapes. A snake is a wavy thick to thin line with a U shape at the end. A simple rose is a U shape with an upside down U shape with hook shapes on both sides. Bigger roses have 5 extra big U shapes in a circle with the same simple rose pattern in the middle. Another kind of flower can be made with thick to thin overlapping petal lines. Leaves use the same shape. A butterfly is a thick to thin angled line with long hook strokes for the top wing and a big U shape for the bottom wing. If that shape is too small, you can build on what you have already painted by following the outside lines. The better you get with these basic shapes, the easier these kinds of designs are going to be to learn, and the faster you will be able to paint them. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.